the jungle, as the final pick of the draft for the Golden Guardians is a Nautilus, so even more CC, more initiation for this team. I really like this pick because the usage of the ulti can guarantee the follow-up is going to be here, the fight is going to be here. It lets Volley and Galio and Kennen all jump in there. I think this is a solid way to round out the draft here for them.
Yep, this is going to be a race against the clock, and I kind of like watching games that are like this. FlyQuest have looked their best when they're playing the clock side of it, playing the scaling side.
You are the clock.
We are the clock. Try and do something. See what happens in 15, 20, 25 minutes later on. And Golden Guardians are the ones that are trying to break that clock. They've got the Volibear jungle. They have the Galio combination coming from the mid lane. Damonte trying to follow up the Volibear every time with the ultimate. You got to create the plays, keep throwing those plays at the clock, make it shatter, stack up your dragons to ensure that you can win the game before you have to face Fedefelio, Sazir, stacking themselves behind an Ornn engage.
Yep, clock is ticking. When you see those three champions on the same side, it means that you had best be making some early plays, making them succeed, and the Golden Guardians want to do just that. Remember, in the Golden Guardians versus Dignitas game last week, where Dignitas failed to respond to anything the Golden Guardians did, it was not until after the 20-minute mark that we saw First Blood. It was the only fight outside of the very ending fight to end the game where we saw some PvP, and it was Damonte coming around from the flank with the taunt on the Galio, just like the analyst desk was talking about, that made that happen. Damonte and finding flanks. The desk talked about it. They're saying he's got this skill set. It comes from the Kiana days. It's sort of how this guy's made his name, and I'd love to see this Galio make some big moves in this one too.
Yeah, he was born in the world of flanks, molded by it, and we'll see if he can get him off here once again. I would say that Golden Guardians don't have to worry super early about getting outscaled. They give up plenty of time to work with, right? Ezreal is at his best on 2 core items. Galio and Kennen need those extra levels, get their ultimates available to be able to follow up closer and layer that CC. So it's really like a strong mid game when you're trying to blow it wide open. Until then, hyper-focus on closer, on the Volibear. He's gone with the earlier focused rune, press the attack. This is my favorite for jungle because it gives you that burst damage. Your W does count as stacking up one proc of the press the attack, so you can get really good trades off just within the stun. Go in with the stun auto, get your W slow on them, and the E slow plus your W, and then one more to get a big chunk of your opponents. It allows him to play a lot more aggressively, even though Volibear did get slight attack speed nerfs and healing nerfs in the jungle.
Talking about keystones, you can see a spell book on both of your top laners here this time around. All 4 solo laners also rocking the TP. Neither AD carry opting for it. Instead, both of them wanting the combat power of the heal. So we will see pretty even presence overall in this game in terms of what everybody's bringing with the loadouts. Phase Rush on the set, pretty common stuff these days. I mean, Phase Rush has just been so powerful. Recently, we've seen so many champions taking it all over the Rift. So not really surprised to see it on him here again in this game. Both junglers are on the bottom side of the map, though, as the Scuttle Crabs will soon be spawning. So we might get some action here around this bottom side.
Mm-hmm. And still continuing on the keystones, there's only slight deviation with Galios. A lot of them do like Summoner Spellbook and trying to get the most out of rotating Summoner spells with the Nimbus Cloak, but Phase Rush, you get so much versatility when you hit your EQ autos to be able to move once you are channeling your taunt for yourself to maneuver into a better spot. And sometimes it's kind of hard to do because, when you're facing Azir, Ornn, and even Set, there's a lot to get around. So Damonte's got a lot of mobility for himself on this Galio to try and find those good flanks, find those good taunts for himself. Closer coming over here to defend against the dive rather than going down to take away enemy Krugs, and Santorin will be able to get out with the stealings.
Yep, and Santorin's camps are also respawning on this top side here, so if he wants to just continue this farming pattern and reach maximum efficiency, he can go right back towards the Gromp and start punching the snot out of that one too, just like Set likes to do. So easy stuff here early on in the jungle for Santorin. It's one crab each for the junglers here. Talked about how we might see them collide there in the bottom half of the map, but Santorin opted to go for the topside scuttle instead. He finding a dredge line onto Ignar's Recon. But FBI can follow that one up with a nice Mystic shot there, just barely passing by the hitbox of Wild Turtle to make sure they get maximum damage. That was a really, really good trade for Golden Guardians.
Yeah, Golden Guardians just slapping them around there. The perfect opportunity to go for that engage for Huhi because they had stacked a minion wave, multiple ranged minions. They're dealing damage with them as he finds the dredge line onto the squishy Ignar. No return damage almost from FlyQuest, and both Turtle and Ignar take big chunks. So that's going to attract junglers anytime you get a trade that.
There's blood in the water. They can just smell it. But
health potions have started to chug.
Closer's seeing if there's a chance to go for something down here. Hui flashes for the dredge line, but an immediate flash away from Wild Turtle. Means the Golden Guardians will not find themselves any sort of kill. However, taking out Aphelios' flash and heal, pretty big deal here for the Golden Guardians. We'll see if Closer wants to make another move, but Santorin is hanging around for an honest 3v3. The Golden Guardians try it again, but there we go. Ignar's jumping in, and now Huhi's in some trouble. Santorin joining the fight means that support is gone. First blood over to FlyQuest jungler. There are so many teleports coming in.
FlyQuest assemble! Everybody bottom lane!
That was like a Power Rangers all beaming into the location to fight the bad guy, man. That was crazy.
Well, you get all 5 of them. The Captain Planet as well. Everybody's beaming over. And the reset will go to Golden Guardians getting Hanser a good recall and the Kennen pushing in, but FlyQuest do get the first blood, do get that reward. In exchange, because of the reset though, Golden Guardians will get Dragon, first Dragon plus Hanser got to shove the wave all the way in on the Kennen. It's going to have more harassment now. So honestly, not that bad of a trade for Golden Guardians. You give up 1 kill that is indeed first blood, but a lot of the times, teams will even think of sacrificing one champion's life for a Dragon Steel later on. So we're happy to get that one. Huhi is the reason because he went in as soon as they went for the fight with Ignar and Wild Turtle, whereas Closer was looking at Santorin. They actually saw Santorin peek his head out of the tri-brush first, and Closer was looking like he was going to back off, but as soon as he went in, they do get the collapse, and the extra teleport comes through for FlyQuest.
That's the bad part about being the dude who's got to start everything off. You can also be the dude who finds yourself in the middle of a real bad situation if somebody shows up to crash the party. But Santorin will be happy to get on the board nice and early, as we could see the 1v1 coming through here in the top lane, but the CC from Hanser allows him to get away, even sidestepping the back end of that ulti from the Ornn. So no real kill threat up here, and with the Ornn ulti on cooldown now for quite a while, the early levels have a pretty significant timer on that one. Hanser's feeling plenty safe up here.
Yeah, he feels just fine. Solo also just going to continue to build his own items, get your sustain out of the river with your honey fruit. It's like a mini objective for Ornn. Honey fruit in the river, always going to check because that's the only thing you lack is looking for more sustain. Closer does get through. Stun from Hanser sets
Oh, here we go. Hanser's ulti means Closer can get into the fight. Solo tries to flash away, but the bear don't care. Hanser picks up the kill.
Yeah, like when Closer went right for the ward, and Hanser's like, I got this set up completely, double stuns here. Let's finish this guy off. Solo goes down. He's not going to have a teleport because even though he has Summer Spellbook, he had used his teleport previously to the bottom side of the map. He's going to have a long walk back. That is a very valuable gank for Golden Guardians. FlyQuest are trying to get their resources here in time, and it looks like the walk back from Ornn might get there because they're delaying on the eyeball procs here for Rifttrail.
Wow, they actually stop it there. Good stuff from FlyQuest, but the fight's not over just yet. Ignar has arrived. No level 6 on this Recon. Top laners don't have their ultis here ready to go either, but the damage coming in from Power of Evil will shred Demonte asunder. Closer's going to be the next one who's targeted. Santorin making sure he tanks up there on the front lines and heads back to grab that Rift Herald. Not only do FlyQuest punish the Golden Guardians and stop them from taking the Rift Herald. They secure it for themselves. They take down 2 players from GG. That could not have gone better for the FlyQuest boys.
1,000 points to whatever house Santorin is from. He clapped Demonte.
The house of the
there.
jungle, baby.
The house jungle. Look at this clap from Santorin. He's messing around with the Rift Herald here, pulls in Demonte. They get the full combo with Ignar. Immediately Power of Evil goes in. They burst him down, and then Santorin ults him over to finish off Demonte. Takes closer to dunk him on top of his teammate. Finishes off the punch. FlyQuest even got the last hit on the Rift Herald to boot. So as soon as we are talking about such a valuable gank topside for Golden Guardians, because Rift Herald does take so long to take, early stages in the game, it's kind of gated by the timer on the eyeball opening, which can only be sped up by autoing it faster. It's plenty enough time for FlyQuest to reset. They fight him off, and Santorin plus Power of Evil really combined for some valuable kills there on the mid and jungle.
Yeah, I love seeing those kills with the set ulti. The ability is just so powerful. Throw him through the air, slam him into the river.
Slam the big old bear on top of his head.
Yeah. How bad would that hurt, getting a bear suplexed on top of you?
A space bear at that.
Oh yeah, we gotta remember it's the space volley bear skin too. Or wait, is he Arctic Ops or something like that? He's a
okay, maybe that one's it. I can't really tell. Looks kind of like an astronaut.
He's some sort of astronaut mountain bear. That's what we're gonna go with here. As the 1v1 between the top laners goes off, and Haunter uses his Ignite from his Summoner Spellbook to make sure he wins the trade, but that did cost his ulti, and Solo still has his ready to go.
You know, I would look kind of dumb now thinking that it's an astronaut skin because there's no helmet on it. That would be a terrible, terrible astronaut skin to not have a helmet in your suit. So I'm going to go ahead
Flowers,
and...
Kobe, and Riot Games do not endorse trying to be an astronaut and going into space without your helmet. Please do not do this. We will not be legally liable or responsible for whatever happens to you when your head explodes because of the lack of pressure. Wear your helmet.
The helmet's going to be the first part that you design, honestly. If
you're really going to need that.
I'm gonna take the L on that one. Sorry about that.
It's okay. Okay, so we're done with Astronaut Volibear. He is most definitely Arctic Explorer Volibear. Yeah. And Santorin is most definitely taking down this Drake. So there we go. 3 Ocean Rifts in a row. But we don't have one team taking the first 2 this time around. So no fast stack on the Ocean Soul here. As here comes Close's initiation onto the turret. The turret shots are disabled. The power of the Volibear ulti means easy money there for the Golden Guardians. Closer paying attention to this top side of the map, trying to help Haunter out. As Shelly summoned up in the bottom lane by FlyQuest. They have this turret nearly down already. Need a little bit more damage, and they'll finish that one off. Aphelios ulti doesn't find anybody. Ignar trying to go in there with the quickness. A lot of damage down on a Wild Turtle, but good control of Huhi. Means FlyQuest are the ones who come out on top there in the fight. They'll take first turret, and they'll take the free kill. Yeah,
Turtle actually nailed him with the Moonlight there. Barely enough to get the Gravitum. Got the root, and that caused Huhi to turn back around. Again, the sacrificial Nautilus. Like you're saying, Nautilus is mostly a one-way champion, and Huhi valiantly wanted to go in, sacrifice himself for FBI. Keep the Ezreal alive, which honestly is worth, because the more time you have FBI out there stacking the tier for his Muramana transformation, farming up, proccing the Cull, looking for his 2-item power spike, is going to be the big goal for them. In the end, FlyQuest get the bigger cash in, obviously, take the whole turret, get the first turret bonus gold and local gold all cleaned up, allowing them for an easy rotation. Once you take that bottom side, to switch Wild Turtle up to the top side. Throw your pressure at those plates. They've got 30 seconds to work with, and Solo can easily handle bottom by himself.
Absolutely. I want to see the replay of that last fight as the turret went down, too. I thought it looked like Wild Turtle's ulti barely missed everybody, but just barely catching Huhi to supply that kill means Turtle's in a great spot now. 1-0-1 here on the Aphelios. He's got even farm with the Ezreal. I talked about in Champion Select how these are hyper carries, man. Aphelios and Azir, if we get to the late game, if we get to 35 minutes and it's a pretty even game state, all of a sudden life's going to look really difficult for the Golden Guardians as Ignar is just doing something in this lane, man. He's partying.
Yeah, they are well aware that multiple members of Golden Gardens could be in there, and that is just easily scanning the map. If you look from FlyQuest's perspective, so many Golden Guardians members were missing, and they had not shown anybody on bottom half there to match solo yet until, they finally see Haunter head up. Wild Turtle and Ignar play intelligently. They play it safely, just standing in front of the minions. Using the sniper gun to get the extra CS there. So good job playing safe after such a big victory on the bomb side. And here's what I was talking about. Just gets the grab into him, root, and then he's like, not on my watch, even though FBI also flashed away. Flash healed by FBI. So, his heart is in the right place. But FBI maybe say, I got flash.
His heart's in the right place, but his body's in the ground. That's not exactly where you want to find yourself these days.
True.
It looks like we barely see the support from FlyQuest get himself out of a dangerous spot there against the Golden Guardians. Shelly 2 has spawned here in the northern part of the river. She's back to avenge her fallen cousin. And Golden Guardians are seeing if maybe they can make this one go better than the previous one did. Ignar still has flash and ulti ready to go. FlyQuest want to team fight this one just like last time. Santorin ready with the blast cone. Turtle going to position himself well to make sure he doesn't take that blast cone over too. Ignar going in, trying to find an opportunity. Santorin having to flash away. Here comes Haunter. He's looking for the damage onto everybody, and Santorin will be shut down. FlyQuest tries to repeat their previous success, but Golden Guardians collapses in force. They use the power of their team nice and early to take down the enemy jungler and secure the objective here for themselves. FlyQuest will gain nothing in retaliation, and that's a big win there for the Golden Guardians.
Yeah, Rifto number 2 going over to their hands as well. They need it desperately. They have been unable to do much damage to any of these turrets to try and open up the map, which is critical when your team hinges on flanks. They have to get Volibear jumping in there, can undefined flank so that you get a good spot for the Galio ultimate. Once again, like we talked about yesterday, the Santorin illustrated how for a set you can kind of sacrifice yourself and use his ultimate to dunk Haunter out and away from the team fight, and then Galio ultimate was used on that area too, so the rest of FlyQuest dispersed, but because Santorin went in first, he went down anyway, and with no jungler, easy objective there for the Golden Guardians, bringing the gold really close back to even, and then if they can get a turret, whoa, Haunter face checks.
Solo? Oh no, man. Ornn's a pretty tanky boy, but is he tanky enough to survive this one? Who he's going to say no? And Demonte lets loose the winds of war as Haunter's about to die here in the back line. Ignar and Wild Turtle chasing after him, but the Kinnan gets away with sub 100 HP as the bottom lane of FlyQuest has to retreat. Haunter barely keeping himself alive in that situation as Golden Guardians try to secure this Scuttle Crab here. Closer looking for the opportunity, but considering FlyQuest has control over the bottom side river, they can't quite do it. And now, even though Golden Guardians got the pick, because their own top laner is so low, they can't go after the Drake right now. And one thing I want to point out, Kobe, as we're waiting for this Drake fight, this one's, now correct me if I'm wrong, but this one's for my boy LS. That Morello Namicon is a sin. There is no big healing on the side of FlyQuest right now that needs to negate. And now it's Golden Guardians who have found themselves a kill onto Wild Turtle. With the enemy 80 carry down, FlyQuest must concede this objective. It is Golden Guardians taking control of the bottom side of the river. It is Golden Guardians grabbing their second Drake of the game. Meanwhile, Shelly's just putting in some work on the tier 1 in the mid lane. Good plays coming out from GG.
Bowers, you turned my eyes towards the items for 1 second, and Turtle gets wiped from the map.
In that 1 second. Yeah.
How did he get there? You distracted me with your sleight of hand looking at the Morello Domicon.
Yes.
Oh, look over here. Poof, Turtle is gone. Holy moly. All the ultimates again. Actually, it was just Galio there down from Demonte. Turtle just got annihilated, leading to the second Dragon of Golden Guardians. I honestly am going to have to take a look at the replay. But to answer the attempted question that you had there, yeah, there is definitely not a lot of healing on the side of FlyQuest. It is going to be an Ocean Soul, but Currently, Golden Guardians are actually positioned in a better spot to get the soul, not only because they already have 2 dragons, but this is the mid game where their comp really is spiking. They're about to get 2 item power spike for Ezreal. FBI is actually going the Trinity Force route for the higher damage rather than the Iceborne Gauntlet. The higher damage, it also gives you move speed because of the Phage component, so allows you a little bit more ability to dodge away from stuff like Horn Ultimate or keep your range on the Rakan. And gonna have to keep his eyes open for that. But yeah, the only big healing I would point to would probably be like Aphelios Red Gun or something like that, and that's definitely not worth it by itself. So here's how we started. Oh, he's got the Ocean Dragon on him. And Closer's got his eyeballs right on Turtle. I see you over there. The Ocean Dragon slow. Just, oh my goodness. Annihilated.
There was no way out of that one except in a casket. He was stuck, man. He had a rock in front of him. He had FlyQuest, or he had Golden Guardians to the left of him, Golden Guardians to the north of him, and an Ocean Drake just smacking him over and over again off there to the right. That was the worst possible spot to get caught in, but FlyQuest will now go back to pushing out this top side. Santorin's shadowing power of evil. The gold dead even here between the teams. 4 kills to 5. FlyQuest critically with a 2-turret advantage. Golden Guardians still yet to take a single turret from their opponents despite getting that second Shelly. As Demonte gets swooped back, and now he's pulled back, and now he's beaten down. Santorin takes the kill credit as mid lane the tier 1 turret falls.
Zed is just so fun to watch, actually. With
He is.
The
He
punches, visceral E, pulling things back, the dunk.
Even his auto attacks, just punch, 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 punch.
I can visualize you doing that right now.
I just did the animation.
For viewers that don't know, like Flowers actually does that when he casts as he gets amped up. He starts like air boxing for himself. Power of Evil will take down the second outer tower on top of the kill onto Demonte.
I'm immersing myself in the moment. It's very important. To the
Set cosplay from Flowers when?
The game. No. There's I'm too many comments from Weebs if I do that. We're not doing that. But back to the set in this game, you can see that Santorin is having himself a wonderful game. 100% kill participation. Dead Man's Plate already completed. This is the heart of the build for these jungle sets where they want to make sure that they're constantly putting themselves in a spot to get the positions and get the flanks for those big body slams there with the ulti. And I just love to see it. Negatron Cloak in the inventory now. Wants to make sure he's not just getting cut up by the magic damage of the Galio and the Kinnan when he goes into these fights. I like the choice.
Yeah, and remember, a big objective of him specifically in the upcoming fights is going to revolve around magic resist because he's going to be the one running at Haunter to deny the engage. He's got a spot Haunter. You constantly have to track where's the Kennen going to try and flank from, and then you set ult the Kennen out from the combo, so even though the Galio ult will channel there and give you the knockup, you don't have the layered AoE damage on top of it, and Set's one of his best roles is Combo Breaker.
Golden Guardians with control over the river right now with 45 seconds until the next Drake spawns. If they take this one, it will put them at soul point and force a response from FlyQuest for the rest of the game. FlyQuest would love to make sure that's not their reality, but can they get into this river? Haunter and Solo both located in the bottom lane. Solo with a teleport equipped. Teleports also up on both mid laners here. Haunter has a heal from his Summoner's Spellbook, so he needs to be in position at the beginning of the fight. Solo can join a little bit late. True Shot Barrage fired off. Only finds Ignar and Santorin and does pretty much no damage. So Ezreal...
Proc the Guardian!
Not a lot of value right there, but hey, the Mystic Shot afterwards took about 25% of Ignar's HP, so not all is lost there on the poke from FBI. FlyQuest moving forward. It's Santorin as the point man, ready to soak up those skill shots. You can see top laners have rotated over as well. Solo waiting on the back side of this fight. On the other side of the terrain, ready to sound off the Orn Horn. Closer's already in the pit, and he's ready to go. Haunter has a flash to get over this wall and join the fight if FlyQuest goes in. Solo and Santorin thinking about walking forward. Here we go. Looking like it's going to be a 50-50. Haunter coming around from behind. Drake taken low. Stolen by Santorin. The man is on point with the smite here today. Ignar having to get himself out as Demonte makes his entrance. Haunter turns on the ulti as Santorin grabs the shutdown onto FBI. Turtle's forced to flash away, and it's closer in a life or death fight with Santorin. Both will choose death, and the junglers are out of the picture. It's FlyQuest with a 2-for-1 victory and the steal on the objective.
Yeah, great kiting there by FlyQuest. Everybody skirting around the edge of the Galio ultimate, not getting knocked up. The DPS still
in this one where if Golden Guardians aren't ahead, it's going to be looking pretty dire. Santorin with the Hex Flash over the wall. He's got a stopwatch ready to go here now, too. Worth pointing out that that could be huge here in the next upcoming team fight to drop some aggro. You can see Solo is level 14. That means he's got his 2 items upgraded. I want to see him upgrade the Molten Edge for Turtle whenever he gets the chance. And then after that, let the pieces fall where they may. Normally, the Ornn players do want to prioritize upgrading the items for the carries, but only if it's the item that the carry wants upgraded. Usually for the mage, that would be the Rabadon's Death Cap too. So that'll probably need to wait a little bit as Power Evil's still building towards that Hourglass. And I do want to point out, you were right earlier, by the way, Kobe, when you said that Hauntzer may not build defensively at all because he's got the Galio. Void Staff, 3rd item. That means that this Kinnan has no ability to drop aggro once he goes in. FBI firing off some shots there to try to protect his jungler, who did have to ult defensively. And FlyQuest just keep looking for these picks.
I'm already, honestly, really worried for the Golden Guardians. That last Dragon fight was so pivotal to me. And like you're talking about, now Ornn gets to start handing out extra money. Wild Turtle's about to get his Molten Edge upgrade. And for Hauntzer, being unable to get damage down in that fight with Power of Evil flashing away and Hauntzer not being able to follow, did not flash after him, did not flash over the Azir wall. That is one of the biggest holders of gold and of power for the Golden Guardians team. Hauntzer has the 4 kills. He's the one that's been in the side lane farming up. Only FBI has more than him with the Ezreal, who's trying to get to his Death's Dance and is the other main big DPS source. But if Hauntzer, like in the last fight, only got like half of a single person in his ultimate and didn't get the stun off and then gets killed on the outside, that's going to be the downfall of this team that does rely on a lot of the AoE to find effect, and FBI to land his skill shots kind of weaving throughout while his teammates create that space for him. Ezreal does scale super well because of the very safe range that he plays at with the Mystic shots, but when you're facing this scaling from FlyQuest, it's difficult to avoid the FlyQuest initiation. Ornn and Rakan kind of get to choose.
And while you were talking about these things, my friend, another big purchase coming through for FlyQuest. Santorin with the Gargoyle Stoneplate ready for this next Drake fight. Means he can become the meatiest of all meatballs when he jumps into this fight. He is ready to go. He'll have a massive health pool. He'll have aggro drop through stopwatch. Well, no, he doesn't have a stopwatch anymore. He combined it into the Gargoyle Stoneplate. Excuse me, I misspoke. But he's going to be just the biggest dude in the fight. And that's a thing to say when you're up against a Volibear and a Galio and a Nautilus, but now the fight's already going to be starting off. Who he's going in. It's Damonte's entrance coming in now as Solo gets knocked up in the air. Golden Guardian's going to force the flash away from the top laner of FlyQuest. There's your ulti, Haunter. That is exactly what the Golden Guardians needed to happen. Santorin is torn in half by Closer, and that is a huge team fight win here for the Golden Guardians.
It really is.
Oh! Ignore! The dragon popped him!
The dragon gave me away. Shh, quiet, dragon, come on. Get out of here. He does escape over the wall, and this is huge, mainly because this will lead to Baron for Golden Guardians. There's long enough death timers that they can pick up the dragon and easily head over to Baron as well. Boom, we finally see it. Haunter gets the flash and barely is able to get all three of those members in range, gets off the stun with the full DPS build, absolutely annihilates the team. That's the mid-game spike we were looking for. FlyQuest here to answer the Baron, though.
FlyQuest do not want to give this one away. They know that Kennen has no ulti. Closer's trying to frontline here, but there is Damonte. There is the flank. 2 stasis to try to keep FlyQuest alive, but Ignar is already out of the picture. Haunter has to walk away. 200 HP. All that he's got left in the tank. This is a disengage. FlyQuest will stop the Baron at the cost of their support.
Worthy sacrifice there for FlyQuest to send everybody in, and they do have to blow some summoners. They do lose the life of Ignar, but sacrificing for that Baron is critical. With that Baron, Golden Guardians get to push in. They could probably get even an inhibitor turret. And you know, they also have the Volibear that can turn off turrets and really threaten those dives. But without the extra power of your Baron buff for your push, for for the even team fight as well, that is going to put more pressure on the Dragon Soul, which if Golden Guardians had been able to win that previous Dragon fight for the second one, they would already be on. But because FlyQuest are making these key stands in these defense points with the neutral objectives, they've opened up a pathway for themselves, for the late game.
Yep. If they can close out this Ocean Soul here 3 minutes from now, could be the game breaker. Santorin running away from the Mystic shots, fired off by FBI, who now has his Death Dance ready. We got items showing up across the board right now, actually, as Knight's Vow is completed by Solo, wanting to make sure that he can be even more supportive of these 2 big hyper carries. Recognizes it's all about Azir and Aphelios as Damonte's coming in from the side yet again. The Galio is always showing up, getting ready to take the fight to FlyQuest. Now he's nearly going to be killed off. Damonte disengaging as Solo controls Haunter and tries to prevent the flank. Closer's coming in, and Santorin is already gone. Wild Turtle going in. Here comes Power of Evil. The damage has showed up for FlyQuest, and the shutdown comes through. Haunter has no stasis. That's what happens when Kennen doesn't have utility. But Damonte's right back into the fight. He will trade his life for Ignar. Mid laner for support is not usually the 1-for-1 that you aim for, and FlyQuest will win that fight 3-for-2.
We're witnessing madness right now, Flowers. That was a full engage for Golden Guardians on Santorin. You talked about the Santorin meatball, beefcake, whatever. They used so much on this full tank set. And then, because Haunter goes in, as Damonte had just recalled and was not there, there's no Galio ultimate, which is why he hadn't built the extra stasis. FBI is really trying to steal here. There's no junglers around.
Oh, Baron taken and secured there by FlyQuest, making sure that they don't give it away to a rogue Mystic shot.
So you have multiple re-engages on that fight, and the pieces of the combination are spread out so much that there's no layering for Golden Guardians. They don't get the Kennen plus Galio giant AoE, and they had used so much of their other abilities on the set and on the Rakan in the first part of the engage that they just didn't have anything left in the tank. So Solo here, reminder, full tank set. Closer does get a decent pick on him. They just want some free damage at first. They're chunking him down. He starts to build up his grit, but then he dunks Galio back into FlyQuest. And remind you, Galio is not a tank anymore. Galio is a mage. So Damonte gets pushed out of the fight. You see him recalling over there, and they get the counter kill. So the re-engage for FlyQuest is during such a good window that when Haunter goes back in, Damonte just left. There's no Galio ultimate to come down on top of it, and FlyQuest get to chase them out. Then Damonte teleports, right back in, and he does trade one, but that's just the support kill for your mid laner kill. Baron now on FlyQuest. Topsy-turvy, wild ride here, Flowers.
And if you want to get wilder, Power of Evil has his hat. And not only is it a hat, it's a Gucci hat because it got upgraded by Solo, and you do not want to go anywhere near this man right now. The damage on this 5-item Azir will be extreme if given the chance to free fire on these tanks of the Golden Guardians. Drake spawning now, FlyQuest with complete control over the pit. Everybody on the team wearing purple. The Drake's total lifespan was, what, 4 seconds? And he just evaporated.
Generous.
Yeah, I probably highballed it there. That's my bad. But we got ourselves a tied game in terms of Drakes. The next elemental Drake is the soul, no matter where it goes. FlyQuest currently controlling the game, 4,000 gold ahead. Everybody with the Baron. Azir just mowing over anything near these soldiers. Oh, it's scary for the Golden Guardians, my friend.
Yeah, this is definitely comfort zone for FlyQuest. So Golden Guardians still have to keep their eye on the prize. Combo, combo, combo. They've got flash available for Haunter. Even flash available for Damonte on a follow-up. So you critically have to get your layering of your Kennen plus your Galio AOECC set up after who he has got somebody locked down with the Nautilus ultimate. That's just so hard, though, because there's a lot of disengage on FlyQuest, Azir ultimate, and you have to constantly be worried about Santorin dunking you out. You see Santorin right now is just staring down Haunter. He's like, you know what? I'm marking you. I got eyeballs on you, Kennen. You are not ready in there.
Haunter with that flash, man. It's all about him. He finally has a stopwatch in inventory here. Knows he will need a stasis in this upcoming fight. Damonte going after Solo in the 1v1. Haunter still looking to make his entrance, but you got to respect Santorin, man. You've got to respect this set. 5,000 gold difference as all 6 turrets standing outside of the Golden Guardians base have almost been taken down. That mid lane tier 2 just barely standing. The bottom lane tier 3 has collapsed, so that is an open inhib, but FlyQuest don't feel comfortable pushing up into that one here just yet. No Baron buff still remaining means that their minion waves can be cleared out rather easily by the likes of the Galio and the Ezreal, so they're just going to hang back, wait here a little bit. That Ocean Soul spawns in 3 minutes. Baron spawns in just over 2. We're at the calm before the storm right now, Kobe. Everybody's just kind of hanging out. Oh, cool, a Gromp. Sure, I like frogs. But here in just a couple of moments, it's a bloodbath.
Yeah, I mean, the final is coming up very quickly for this class, and FlyQuest are doing all the prep. Look at this. They even have the extra magic shield from the Mauve Malmortius on Turtle. So even if you catch an ideal situation, you get your perfect combo, Kennen, Galio, Volibear, Ezreal ultimate, everything on the DPS of FlyQuest. There's a QSS and a Zhonya's on Power of Evil, and Wild Turtle has a stopwatch as well as the extra magic shield from a fully upgraded Mauve the Malmortius. There are answers in place already. They know the questions that are going to be on the final before taking it.
It's one of those kinds of tests. The professor tells you, hey, you ever read Chapter 7? Well, that's the test. So just go read Chapter 7. And FlyQuest, they're all about it, man. They got the library study group. Everybody brought a bunch of snacks and stuff. They reserved the room for 3 hours. These guys are all about that A. Now, let's see how Golden Guardians are going to respond, because we've hit that scaling point. We're at 38 minutes now. They're on the back foot. It's a flank. I think it's a flank or bust.
Yeah,
they've got to find that big chance.
They're definitely sweating. Haunter here, scouting ahead. He has got behind the team, but even if you get the flank, again, there's a lot of answers for the back line, and Ignar's watching the back side. So Turtle and Power of Evil, you see them spreading out right now. You want to keep your carries a little bit outside of that AoE range so they don't get both comboed. Worst case, one of them does. They're able to use their stasis and kind of wait it out while the other one does DPS during the engage. Meanwhile, of course, they had Rakan, they had Ignar there, watching the flanks, looking for Haunter and any possible way in for the Golden Guardians as they wait. The arrival of Baron and the Ocean Soul.
Here. And remember, this is a 5.5 item Azir. Well, I guess the QSS doesn't really count as a DPS item, so we'll just call it.
But it's a very valuable item.
Yes, it is a very valuable item. But in the context that I'm talking about here, which is Baron, it doesn't do a whole lot, but now we're going to have the fight anyway. Power of Evil going in, looking to start the fight off. Closer having to run himself away. The Ram comes through, but it will not find the knock up there on the second half. Closer down to 20% HP, no flash, no ulti, no chance of interfering as FlyQuest move themselves into the bottom half of the map. Look at all the pings showing up on Hauntzer's Kennen. He has exhaust. He does not have a teleport. If FlyQuest collapses and finds this kill, it is disaster for the Golden Guardians. Turtle continues moving forward now as well. Haunter trying to hide. Power of Evil going in. Turtle jumped on, but the damage goes through, and the stopwatch will not even be used. The Golden Guardians trying to dogpile into the pit. They're rushing down the Ocean Drake. They want to be able to take this one. Where is Santorin? Who's going to be able to take it? It's the Golden Guardians taking the Ocean Soul. But they will lose their jungler, their top laner, and their mid laner. The cost could be the game, Kobe.
Yeah, at what cost, Flowers? That's going to be a big W for FlyQuest, even though Golden Guardians get the Ocean Soul. They've got 3 members in the Death Timers. FlyQuest going to push ahead. They don't even need Baron to do it.
No,
They've got fully fed late-game carries stacked up with ornaments, and that's going to be FlyQuest victory.
Throw them meatballs in the pan. Let's see what FlyQuest has cooking. Get everybody on the front line. There goes Santorin with the body slam onto FBI. No, he's not killing him effectively. No, it does not matter. No, the Golden Guardians will not hold on, and FlyQuest takes this game.
Honestly, that is what I've become to associate with a classic FlyQuest victory. Those champions,
Power of Evil carry,
scaling towards those late game team fights, they had to make a lot of critical moves to win some of the mid game fights too. You know, a lot of these dragon fights delaying that soul, so Golden Guardians didn't actually get it until it was too late and they had too much money in their carries with the Ornn upgrades. And a lot of these plays stopping that critical Baron as well. It's checkpoints along the way, to the full scaling Azir and Aphelios that they're able to make work.
And Golden Guardians put up a valiant effort, specifically Haunter and Demonte. The solo laners here both had some good flanks, some good AoE engages there in those team fights that kept them going as long as they did. And while I respect the hell out of the play to just say, go for the Ocean Soul. They're going to kill Haunter. Just do it. Just go for the Ocean Soul. It didn't work out. FlyQuest takes the game, and now we're going to toss to a break here once again. But after that break is done, we